Shut Up and Jam!
A new album, another chapter in the continuing saga of Motor City, Sonic Bombast, Rhythm and Blues, Motown Funk Brothers, tributes to James Brown and Wilson Pickett and Sam and Dave, and certainly Howlin' Wolf and Muddy Waters and Mose Allison, Lightnin' Hopkins, and even Yusef Lateef and Sun Ra and John Coltrane, but ultimately Bo Diddley and Chuck Berry. And I think more than anybody, what we emulate and worship every night on stage through our music is James Brown and the Mighty Flames, and probably Wayne Cochran and the CC Riders. Originally Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels, maybe the Amboy Dukes, but every Ted Nugent band is wall-to-wall spirit, piss and vinegar, fiery attitude to play the music the best we can so that we don't play anything Caucasian. The worst insult you can give my band members is going, "You were playing kind of white tonight." Shut Up and Jam is a perfect example of when you collaborate with guys like Mick Brown and Greg Smith and Derek St. Holmes and John Kutz and Johnny B. Bonangic and certainly Sammy Hagar and my co-producer Michael Lutz from the Brownsville station, Smoking in the Boys Room, and Tim and Andy as engineers. Everybody around us, even my guitar tech, Dave Zychek, everybody was raised on Howlin' Wolf and Chuck Berry and Little Richard music. So it was a unified force to reckon with to accurately celebrate the grind and the groove and the ferocity and the uninhibitedness and the irreverence and the defiance and the spirit of real rhythm and blues, where we finally broke the shackles of musical slavery and we're now running wild and nobody can stop us. So shut up and jam, for God's sake. If I break into a Stax Volt or a Booker T lick, everybody I play with, all my bandmates, all my fellow musicians can immediately jump on it and play it. So when I wrote Shut Up and Jam, it was another living room explosion of my favorite guitar licks and rhythms after a beautiful day of celebrating Independence Day every day on my Texas ranch, and doing things that are illegal everywhere but in Texas. The only place I can do the things on a daily basis legally is in Texas. It's illegal in France and Illinois, for example, everything I do. So I have this tsunami, this gush fest of uninhibited stream of consciousness, independent, rugged individual, doing what I damn well please, not the road less traveled. That's too much of a traffic jam for me. I go where there's no road nobody's ever traveled before. I let my guitar and my daily outdoor cleansing of the soul kind of sponge out guitar licks that my heroes taught me 50-some years ago. So I'm basically a bastardizing Chuck Berry guitar guy, and Shut Up and Jam, or Fear Itself, or Everything Matters, or Semper Fi, or I Still Believe, or every song in this record, and quite honestly, every song in every record is my own indulging into what I would want to pay to buy a ticket to go see a guy do. For example, if I wasn't me, I'd buy a ticket to the front row to watch me every night, because my guys are so inspired, my guys are so gifted, they're so dedicated and passionate about the music that every song is just a runaway freight train of the things we believe in, the music we crave, the emotions we aspire to and live.
You never give up and you were brought up to never give in. No way. You give it your best with nothing in chance, you're ready to do it all over again.
Everything Matters is another example. So Joe Podorczyk is teaching me honky tonk. 1959 at the Capitol School of Music on Grand River in Detroit, and he's teaching me, no, Ted, it's ka-gong, 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 ka-gong. You gotta learn that. Every good song has ka-gong, 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 ka-gong. Let's spend the night together. Satisfaction. Every cool song, I don't care if you're Bruno Mars or the Chili Peppers or Dave Grohl, if you're not playing a honky-tonk pattern, you haven't got good music. And everybody does play the honky-tonk pattern one way or another. And Everything Matters is such a clever, improvise, adapt, and overcome of not playing just ga-goon, 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 but I started playing that one. And it's just another escape bastardization of what Lonnie Mack and Dwayne Eddy and certainly Les Paul and everybody originally jumped on as a spontaneous primal urge to groove, to grind, to get a sexual rhythm going. And all my songs have that, and that's just another example that I can take honky tonk and I can make thousands of songs out of it. Because if you go back to the Amboy Dukes records or all the Ted Nugent records or the damn Yankee records, everything I've ever collaborated on, if you listen closely, well, there's honky tonk. It's there somewhere. It might be upside down, might be backwards, might be inside out, but it's there. And it's all about the groove and the grind. And I am the groove and grind czar. I don't know if you heard that, but it's official now.
Whoa, 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 yeah. Oh, baby.
Boy, this album in a nutshell. I am the Motor City Madman because I'm madly in love with the spirit of Motor City music, which is ubiquitous, it's universal. When I tour Europe, or no matter where I am, even in Africa, when I'm hunting in Africa, people know about Motown. People know about the Funk Brothers. People know about the incredibly gifted, spiritually, emotionally authoritative Detroit music, whether it's the MC5 or Brownsville Station or the Amboy Dukes or Bob Seger or Grand Funk Railroad, or even today with Kid Rock and Eminem and Jack White. We all come forth from what Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels taught us, to play soulfully, to play tight, to concentrate on the rhythm, emulate James Brown, the fire of Wilson Pickett and Little Richard. And so Motor City music is extremely emotional and passionate. Every musician believes maniacally in their art and in their creations, their musical creations. So every musician I've ever known in Detroit, which is all of them, except the ones that fell for the lie of peer pressure and the insanity that getting high was cool, because then they lost their musicality or they died, because poison will poison your gifts from God, which reduces your capability to perform to the max. So all the musicians that put their heart and soul, which I just mentioned many of them, but there are others, Dick Wagner and the Frost, Scott Richards' Case, the Rationals, so many bands in Detroit create such passionate, fiery, uppity, defiant, ferocious, intense music that if you don't, you'll probably get laughed out of town. So I'm very, very proud of my Motor City roots. And just a year or so ago, I was voted, this is unbelievably humbling, but it's worth mentioning because I'm so proud of it. I was voted the greatest guitar player ever from Detroit. In the shadow of the Funk Brothers, are you kidding me? Johnny Wah Wah Watson and Steve Hunter. I mean, this is quite an honor. And I take it to heart on behalf of all the musicians from Detroit and the Michigan area and the great Midwest, but primarily Detroit. The heart and soul that we always put into our musical statements is what endears people who love soulful, spiritually stimulating music or physically stimulating music. I'd like to think that the Motor City music is the physics of spirituality, and it will groove you to death. So hang on, because it is a Motor City madhouse every time.